You very much, Davina. And I would just like to thank Joanne Welsh as well for the incredible hard work of all the team at the Back to 60 campaign. And I had the pleasure of meeting Joanne very recently last week to discuss the important issue of the Back to 60 campaign and all of the women impacted from the 1950s and how this has really impacted their emotional, psychological, and mental well-being as a direct result. And we had a fantastic, interesting conversation around the need for a women's Bill of Rights. And just speaking that time for half an hour with Joanne, I noted a number of things that were deeply concerning. Number one, women have had to continue to work late into their 60s as a result of this absolutely unthinkable injustice. I spoke with a woman recently in the past week who previously had good paying jobs and right up now into their 60s. Actually, my mother is one of them. They have to return to work, take up low paying jobs just to afford to be able to live. And I think this is just absolutely disgraceful on the government's part that this has taken place and that when we're not properly informed years previous about the change in retirement age and pension age, pardon me. But we talk a lot often, I'm an MLA based in Northern Ireland, and we see every day the impact of the welfare system. So for many people as well who have been impacted by the change in pension age, many have to face horrific assessments, which can often be humiliating and dehumanizing. And I think, having spoken with so many women who are affected by this, that's exactly how they feel. They feel overlooked, they feel not represented in political debates and discussions on this matter. And I think that's why the work from the Back to 60 campaign has been so impactful and so effective, is it's women coming together to champion women's issues and have their voices heard. And I think they've been incredibly successful so far, because when we boil this down to this is essentially a life-changing decision that has impacted women's lives without any notification to them. And now they're taking that power back and having their voices heard. But I do notice as well, it's not only the financial impact of those years where they've had to continue to work, it's also things like bus passes and things like that that accumulate over those years. And essentially, this change in law has taken away a woman's right to rest, a woman's right to retirement after working their entire lives. So I think just the level of injustice here is utterly disgraceful. And I do note within my own party, the Social Democratic and Labour Party, this campaign has our full support. Both of our MPs, Claire Hanna, MP for South Belfast, and our party leader, Colm Eastwood, MP for Foyle, which is Derry City, have passionately spoken on this issue and signed the important petition that is currently available. And I would encourage anyone listening today or watching this who has yet to sign the petition that they do so for an early motion. But, I think it's just when we talk about a great topic of discussion at the minute in Northern Ireland is about violence against women and girls. And we actually currently have a strategy here reviewing policy on that matter. And I think that when we have spoken previously about the importance of a women's Bill of Rights, absolutely, there's unique life experiences and injustices that women have experienced across these islands. And I think that by having a Bill of Rights, and I have to again thank Davina and Joanne for their work with CEDAW and the People's Tribunal on this matter, because women have experienced trauma on this issue because they feel so neglected and so overlooked. And a lot comes with that mental ill health. And women are often the backbone of the household, their grandmothers, their mothers, daughters. Oftentimes, we have the majority of the caring responsibilities. So we can kind of see that this paints the picture of the impact that these delays, and just to note as well, we in the SDLP fully support full restitution, as I've spoken with Joanne, because we've talked about, the loss of opportunities, the right to retirement, and just the negative impact that this has had on women's lives. And looking across these islands, I believe in the north, we're looking at 77,000 women that have been impacted, but across the UK as a whole, it's up to, I believe, 3.9 million. So that's women right across the UK who have just been robbed of the right to retire. And, wage losses of up to £200,000 is just unthinkable. And this shows at that time, it would beg the question, why were women not appropriately were adequately informed of these changes. And it's heartbreaking. And I spoke with Joanne about, a number of women working these low paying jobs, feeling significant stress, having to pay bills over their head. And the government has to pay great attention to this issue. This cannot continue. And this is why I think activism is so important, because we've seen how the Back to 60 campaign and women have come together to highlight this issue and to advocate for more. I just have a little note here that a woman affected stated in the report at nearly 68, she should be enjoying her retirement, but she is working long hours and fighting back the pain of arthritis in my shoulder to make up for a financial shortfall. Another woman writes, when they took away my pension, I was devastated. I'm exhausted every single day, but I still have to work regardless of how I feel, as I can't afford to. And it is absolutely disgraceful to think that in 2022, this issue persists and that the correct steps to rectify this issue have not been taken. And after speaking with Joanne, I actually spoke with my colleagues within the SDLP, and to play our role in supporting this campaign, we will be writing to the Government Equalities Officer. And just anybody listening today, again, I would actively encourage them to sign the EDM 906, which is all over Twitter. And if you can at comms 2020, all of Joanne's details will be there, and details on how you can sign the early day motion. But, I think women have been grotesquely disadvantaged as a result of these changes, and it will take political leadership to ensure that this issue is appropriately addressed. And certainly as a young woman, I think that we have to really identify why women were put at this disadvantage. And it's important that all women in political life and men play a role now to ensure that this is adequately addressed, because the stress and the hardship of pension reform is evident. These are women that have lived long lives, and they are entitled now to take time, and the government owes them the money that they are due. But certainly we within the SDLP note these concerns, and we will be doing everything in our power. And I've spoken with my own mother about just the emotional impact that this has. And there's so many women impacted across these islands, and certainly we will be doing everything that we can to support them. A woman's Bill of Rights is just fundamental, I believe, because women do have those unique experiences, and we've seen the level of injustice that women have experienced, whether it be from FGM, domestic violence, and even from a legislative perspective, from pension reform. So it's important that we speak up about these issues. I do know March, I believe 8th is International Women's Day, and that will offer the opportunity. I believe there's a discussion happening in Cambridge, and I'll be doing everything in my power to get as much promo around that, and to get as many MPs involved as possible, because I think the Back to 60 campaign has done the most effective job on promoting this issue. And just having women's voices heard is very powerful. And I think the Back to 60 campaign has empowered women as well. I'd spoken with Joanne about, when we started talking about these issues, maybe women weren't too sure how to use social media, and now they're all over it, utilizing how effective it can be to get the word out there and to promote their concerns and their hunger for change. And that's the beauty of social media as well, is that we can connect and voice that women will be heard, and that this is such an important, vital issue that needs to be sorted. And I'm 26, and I'll certainly be sharing with my girlfriends to get everybody within the MPs within their area to get behind this, and to support other women. So I'd just like to thank Davina and Joanne just for the level of engagement that they've had over the past coming weeks, and that certainly from the Social Democratic Labour Party, we'll be doing everything within our gift to support this and to support a woman's Bill of Rights.